Welcome back to iQ4. So for this session, I'd like to highlight from an employer's perspective how to engage in jobs. And again, when you sign in, and I'm just going to take us through a sign-in process for an employer to show how simple it is. So here the employer signs in. And the first thing I want to do, and as you can see from my past updates, it's now showing me any recent activity in the past 72 hours. I've added some things here. So you could see all the activity that's going on in terms of if you're an employer and you have projects that are live, all the project work. If you're a student and you're having discussion with other students, this is all of the updated, most recent information. But if I'm an employer, the first thing I want to be able to do is go in and select jobs, the upper right. I could create a new job, and I'm not going to go through and create this entire job at this point to save us a little bit of time. I'm just going to go through and show us the actual job that exists right now. So here's a job, social media design for HSBC. And in this particular job, if you'd like to edit, you can edit again, just like as simple as email, the whole job requirements area. This is just the job definition. So here's the description. There's 3 other modules. You've got the skills module on the right here. And you've got a module that where you could set all of the requirements for the job, and then some logistics information. The most important pieces here would be obviously the job description, but then the skills. And again, very similar to the profile, an employer could go in and select the specific skills. So we could say economics, for example. And let's say I want to eliminate Java. I'm not looking for Java right now. I'm not looking for Word. But I am looking for, in economics, market analysis. Could happen to be a new skill that I am looking to create, and maybe some risk analytics. Okay, so it's added market analysis and risk analytics to the job requirements. I'm going to update, and you can see the job is updated successfully. Now, it's really important to, as we talked about before, for students to fill out your profile on the skills side, because that's exactly what the power of iQ4 is, and you'll see in a moment. It's going to search for job skills, not categories and not resumes. For the employer, you could also select a category in which this job is relevant. You can decide whether you are prepared to offer sponsorship for an H-1 visa, or if the employee needs to be a citizen. We'll just select the H-1 visa for now. Number of openings, how much fulfilled, whether it's part-time or full-time, paid or unpaid internship, and update. And then finally, whether this is a virtual or on-site project, city, state, etc., update, and you're done. That's literally how quickly conventional systems today, when you select your job, it's posted on a job posting board, and students will search the job, and then they will apply their resumes, send resumes for that job. In our case, we've reversed the process. You could see that we had all that information, and when we hit find candidates, it went out and it found 7 candidates based on all those skill requirements that we have selected. In addition, iQ4 offers a very powerful, what we call attribute search engine. You can see on the left side, in addition to the skills that we requested in the job, you could go through, and out of these 7 candidates, you could see 6 of them are all fluent in critical thinking, 5 in mathematics, and so on and so forth. So you can refine your search further using the search engine and the attributes on the left side. In this case, I'm going to go all the way down on these attributes and take a look at locations. I'm really looking, because I happen to be located in Brooklyn, New York, for anybody that's in Brooklyn and here. I have found somebody in Brooklyn, New York, Antonio Pellegrino, sounds like an Italian in Brooklyn. And I could click on Antonio's background, and you can see all of Antonio's experience, his background, where he's worked, types of skills that he has, etc. So it's a very fast and powerful way to capture the skills that you're looking for, the type of job, and find students. I mean, we probably could be looking at about 10 minutes here, all in, to find the candidates. And then once we found the candidates, so I'm going to go back. These candidates I've already selected, most of them, but here's a candidate that I haven't selected that I'd like to add to the candidate list, and I've just added him to the candidate list. So if I want to take a look at all the candidates I have, I just selected Kevin, and here's all the candidates that I have that I've been looking at. So I could look at Aleem, for example, find out that he's got a 5-star ranking in terms of the quality of work he's done on prior projects. I could see that I sent him a new invitation back in May. We've had our initial contact, and now I'm ready to actually engage him and make an offer. So I just make the offer. And I just said sent him a note that we're ready to go. And that's how powerful, fast, accurate, and detailed going into a job and engaging with a candidate and finding that needle in the haystack is. Our goal is to provide the employers the ability to find the hard-to-reach skills, engage the students in the jobs, and then help to assess those skills at the completion of the jobs. Tasks are pretty straightforward. Here's where you can start a task, a description, the timing of what that task will be, who's it assigned to, what priority it may be, the dates required, and create the task. The difference between the task and an assignment is that in assignments you can actually assign to groupings or roles. We've got a very powerful environment within iQ4 so that you could assign roles to different user types. So if it's in a student, you may have some limited functionality. If you're the university itself, you may have some increased functionality, or individuals. So iQ4 gives you the ability, whether it's a project or a group, to be able to establish, in this case I selected a group, any kind of discussion threads. You can see here that we've got a lot more discussions going on, more resources. In this case, we have 28 members, etc. And that gives you a little bit of an overview of the functionality within iQ4 in terms of how do you begin a project or a group. And then you can see here just creating this project, where you can actually name the project and decide whether it's a private, public, or stealth project. The difference is public, everybody could see it and join. Local, you could see it, but you have to request membership. And stealth is it's totally hidden, and unless you've been invited, you don't know it exists. And then there's the rest of the background for the project. The group is the same. We're going to create a group, except within group, you don't have dates in terms of like projects where you've got due dates on special tasks. And in the group area, we've also added in the ability to do subgroups. So here you could see that data scoping is a subgroup to a larger group. And that means that there's a lot of relevant information in the data scoping group that's subgrouped underneath the global reference data. So in short, however, it's very simple to be able to start up a project and a discussion thread and capture all the information, share it with members. The last thing I would go to is the assignments that you can create in either assignments or lesson plans. The ability, and let me bring up a sample of this while we're here. So here I just got a chat from Kevin, who's working on the NASA summer program. Yes, I am available. So I'm sure I'll hear from Kevin in a moment. And the important piece of this is to understand that what we're doing here is we're providing the ability for students and faculty and employers to engage in projects or groups, to be able to have discussions, assign tasks, communicate with the members of these groups. Welcome back to iQ4. One of the powerful capabilities of iQ4, especially for the employer, is lesson plans. And the lesson plans are basically, this tab is the ability to create curriculum for internships where employers want to do some training while engaging students on projects. So here we're in the project area. We'll select, in this case, the Barclays Mobility Project. These are not live projects. We're doing this for demonstration purposes. And we've selected lesson plans. Now here, the lesson module, the Lesson Planning Center, provides two dimensions of capability. One is the ability to define process. So in this case, we've just put a simple process. The first step of the process is mobility research. It shows who the author is and views and when this was done. And you could have, the range of how many steps in a process methodology, for example, for creating a new product, maybe 15 steps here. So in this case, we're going to show, we've talked about the fact that here's where you can define your process methodology, and we're going to take a look at each step. One of the steps, the research step, is showing us that we'd like to do some research on mobility products. And so in this case, we would just select this particular request, and it'll take us to the Barclay page. So you can attach within iQ4's Lesson Planning Center, for each of the steps of the process, you can attach all the relevant content links, and you can see if I edit here, you could, there's where I've attached the link. You could also insert images or resources, etc. So the power behind this particular area is if you create a curriculum for a project, then students can actually get involved and engage at a self-paced way. Get engaged in the project, understand what's going on vis-a-vis the Lesson Planning Center, and then engage in discussions.